here we are. Snorkels for my 2009 Outlander XT800 are finished. Took me about 12 hours, I would say. It's quite a while when you're just trying to fit things in and you make 2 or 3 trips to the store. But considering that, it'd be between $400 and $500 for an aftermarket set, I think I might have spent 115 bucks. If you're in Canada, it's 115 bucks Canadian. I think 80 or 90 bucks American or something. So it's not overpriced. It's definitely worth the trip to the store and doing it yourself. Really, if I had a $10,000 machine, guys, I probably wouldn't have done this. I would have found the extra and bought the aftermarket kit. But this is a used bike. It needed some work. It ran great, but it was never abused, just never taken care of. So that's it on the one side. You're going to see when I get the plastics on right here, you're going to be able to see this elbow when the plastics are on. After that, you can't see any of it. None of this stuff you can see. I wanted to make sure it was out of the way of the shifter. You can see down here, there's lots of room in here for the shifter. And the other critical point was right in here, where the shifter comes out and it's spring loaded. You want to make sure that you've got your room in here for a good finger width. Other than that, I think it fits pretty well. The elbow hits this. This piece of plastic is a nice heat deflector, and it's very, very solid there, so it's not going anywhere. Let's go to the other side. I'll give you kind of a rundown. I'm gonna include a parts list in the description as well, so any of you guys that have the 800 Outlanders 2009, you haven't done it, if you got an older piece of crap like this, you don't mind cutting it up a little bit just to have some fun, then it's going to be the list for you. This right here, the CVT exhaust, I believe this is the exhaust, 2.5 to 1.5 rubber adapter fit on extremely well. It's very close here to the exhaust. I bought some pipe wrap. I'm going to show you here in a second to go around this. I tried fitting a piece of metal in there. Maybe I could bolt it here to this little ear, but it's just too much work to get that in. I think that the wrap that I got is going to work just fine. So your front here, I believe this is your CVT intake. The 2.5 by 1.5 adapter, the rubber adapter, would not fit on the front. It was too small. So what I did was come over here. I took the original Snorkel end and I just heated up the rubber boot and made it fit over this end. You can see I just kind of chopped the end of it a little bit to make it fit nice over it. Heated it up with a torch nice and slow so I didn't melt anything. Gave the rubber a chance to expand. I fit it over. I heated it up when it was on the Snorkel. Let it cool down on its own overnight. And you know what? I put it on here and it wasn't that big of a deal. It slipped on pretty well. Do not put silicone on this first. As I found out, silicone is not the be-all end-all of sealing things up. It's very slippery and it wound up causing this just to keep slipping off. So I had to get all the old crap off there and slip it back on so it's nice and dry, and then it snugged itself up. So if you go on the front here, you can see basically I'm just using a series of 45s and 90s and short pieces. It's pretty straightforward. You come up here. This is the airbox. Was not a big deal. I drilled out the rivets that were here. I sealed the backside. Put in, I think they're 8/32 nut and bolts, double nutted on the backside so they don't shake themselves loose. On the front here, I believe this is a 2.5 by 1.5, although I've got it all together, I don't remember. It could be a 1.5 to 1.5 coupler. I think it's a 2.5 to 1.5, tell you the truth. I had to cut maybe the original come out here, and it kind of went on an angle this way, so I cut it off flush, so it gave me almost 2 inches of plastic underneath here. I did silicone that, only because there's lots for it to grip here, so I knew it wasn't going to slip off anywhere. When you come to the front, again, if I had a brand new machine or if I had a machine that was a couple years old, it was actually worth quite a bit of money, I would not have cut this like this at all. But on this bike, I didn't really give a crap. I might put a rubber flap on here. I just kind of keep any excess dirt and mud out of the computer because it's actually right behind this middle one. Other than that, it's not too bad. It fits up there nice. I'm going to be doing a rad relocate, making my own brackets. So by the time I get that on, no one's going to see it anyways. Plus the rad is going to protect this from getting any extra mud and stuff on it. What else? Vent lines. There are 2 actually coming off the fuel pump. One's just a normal vent line. It goes to the front. And the other if you come up here, they all have one-way valves on them, which is great. They all exit up here. The fuel pump one's got two. It's got, I blew through it both ways. These ones here, they only blow through one way. Maybe somebody knows why I can blow two ways on this. Anyways, it looks like it's actually double. This one here, it exited the frame into a little hole. So I just brought them all up to the front. This is actually fuel line from my work. It's some stuff that we ordered wrong. We had it kicking around. So I think it's going to resist the heat just fine. What else? Snorkels, that's about it. I had to put two valve cover gaskets on. Let me pull them out of the garbage here. The old ones are just hard as a rock. Where are we? Here we are. They were extremely hard. So, yeah, I changed those out. And I had a coolant leak as well. I'm hoping, now this bleeder screw right here, or bleeder bolt, I believe it was leaking a little bit. It seemed to tighten down about a little bit less than a 1/4 inch. So hopefully that solved that. I guess I'll know when I start the bike up. Other than that, guys, I'm going to include a parts list with this so you kind of know what to get and get yourselves going and get started on this. Again, I don't know what's going to happen with this. I'm going to wrap this all the way down, and I guess time will tell. I'm going to do the inside of the plastics as well. I'm going to do this one right here, obviously. And again, I'm not wrapping the exhaust, guys. I don't believe in the exhaust wrap. This isn't a race bike, so I don't really feel it's necessary. Plus, it holds in any condensation and water, rust it out, blah, blah, blah. I'd rather just wrap the thing that I'm trying not to melt. Other than that, the valve covers, getting back to those, they weren't that bad, actually. You need to take the shifter rod off the back for the rear one and just get a few things out of the way for the front one and take your time. I don't know if any of you guys have done them. These are like a composite. They're not metal. When I took this rear one off, there was a small amount of silicone in there between the block and the gasket, but not the front one. There was nothing on the front. So I put a small amount back in. You know, it wasn't a lot. It was really just paper thin, and that should hopefully solve that. So there we are. I'm gonna put the plastics on, and now you're gonna get a rough idea of everything looks like with the plastics on, and how much of the other side you can actually see. All right, so there we are with the plastics on. Not too bad. You can see right there. That's what you see. No, I don't mind that. I really don't give a crap. I don't think it looks that bad. You know why? Because my fucking leg is there. Sorry for swearing, but some guys might not like that, and that's okay. If I had a brand new machine, I would not be doing this. Even if I had a 2 or 3 year old machine, guys, I would not attempt this. I probably would fork out the $400 or $500 and definitely get the aftermarket one. It just fits a whole lot nicer. But that little bit there, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. My foot's going to be there, so. Plus, it's away from the shifter. Nothing's going to rub through. Everything's good there. What I like is this is solid. It's solid right here on that piece of plastic, and that piece of plastic is going to create a little bit of a heat barrier there as well. Anyway, so that's it. Vent lines run up to the front. I got everything spaced out like it's supposed to. Now I just need to hit some deep water and then give you an update as to what it looks like from back here. Give you an update on the water situation. I'm hoping that I've got everything right. I'm actually lucky I checked because this rear one had popped out. Before I put the plastics on, I was double checking all of the connections, and the one piece had popped out, and I had tightened up the clamp. Popped out the top, but I put it back and everything was good. So there you go. 2009 Outlander 800 XT Snorkels. Done for between $100 and $120, roughly 13 hours first time. If I had to do it again, I could definitely cut all of that in half, knowing what I know now. I'd probably do it in a day without issue. All right, I forgot to mention the wrap, Thermotech. Not a lot of stuff available up here. You can order it out of the States online, but really there's not too much at our disposal up here in Canada for this stuff, apparently. So this stuff was, I think, $40, 30-foot roll. It's a very, very good company, Thermotech. I know they've been around a long time. You can see on this guy, reduces radiant heat up to 70%, withstands continuous heat of up to 2,000 Fahrenheit. Wow. Well, I don't know if it's going to be 2,000, but we'll have to see. I think it's going to work just fine for what I'm doing. More horsepower, don't care about that. Really, I think for this particular one is it's number one, its stickiness. It's not going to come off. And number two, how well it actually deflects the heat. I only really have to worry about a couple areas. I'll put it on the back side of the right side here. We'll put it along the back side here, obviously. But other than that, it doesn't really have to be on the front side. Keep it on the back side as well up here. And around the back on that CV exhaust.